So how are you going to be able to put all of these pieces together of the puzzle to be able to make it work? That's the real question.
Yeah. That's why they are such a difficult team to be able to go up against on Gaming Gladiators, where they had such an incredible year last year. This year was a little bit rocky, but of course, like you said, getting that big victory at the Esports World Cup. And now we'll see. It's going to be the Rubik here for Gaming Gladiators, the response with the Enchantress as well. So they're kind of, Seller gets his Chen, and then Enchantress going to be picked up for Respect as well. And so far with the draft, I know we're kind of midway through. Is there one that your key takeaways at the moment, one you're favoring a little bit more than the other?
I would say I actually kind of like 1W's draft just because you're going to be able to deal a decent amount of damage in the early game. You've got the Enchantress as a bit of a like Chen response. You can make some of those early rotations, Weaver. And, well, we actually don't know 100% if it's going to be a Weaver one or a Sven one, right? They're one of those teams that has that flex potential. Even a similar sort of thing with a Primal Beast. Could be mid, could be off lane. So there's a little bit more flex potential there for them in my eyes.
Do we feel like though their heroes from 1W are enough to be able to deal with the issues that you're saying Gaming Gladiators often give other teams with kind of the Death Ball group up, play around the power runes as well? Do we feel like in particular they have supports that are able to rotate early?
Sure. I mean, Enchantress, absolutely. Weaver, if it is indeed Weaver, you've got that mobility to quickly get there with Shikuchi, not put yourself in a harmful position. I don't think Sven really cares that much going up against the Slardar, right? Like, you've got the Warcry, you're going to be able to at least have a little bit of protection if you're left on your own in the lane, if that is indeed what they're looking to do. Again, still could be a Weaver 1. But yeah, I think they've got a good amount of burst damage. I think they've got a good amount of stuns. If it is a Sven position 1 as well, you can eventually buy a Blink Dagger or an Aghanim Scepter to be able to get in onto the backline. So I don't hate this draft at all.
We'll see the Slardar be opted at the 18th here for Gaming Gladiators, so it gives you another hero that is incredibly survivable if it is the Scepter route that he wants to go down. We've seen the DK be really tanky, but the Chen as well, helping out with a lot of the auras.
Ooh, I think we've even seen Quinn a couple of times play a mid Slardar as well, right? Which, going up against a Primal, not the worst. Anytime it's a melee v melee matchup, you're pretty happy to have that sort of thing, and you're always in the water as well, so you get a little bit of that regen boost.
Another thing too, Dyrachyo has also been playing a lot of the Dragonite mid at the moment in pub, so I guess there is some flex potential here for gaming. This is definitely one thing. I think Dyrachyo has played some more unconventional carries and definitely has a set style, so we'll see heading into the last phase where this one goes.
He's been playing a lot of Riki as well. I've seen a lot of players actually play a lot of Riki, and it hasn't really been working out too well for them. But, people are clearly just trying a few things. You mentioned the Wind Ranger. I don't personally see it. I don't like the Wind Ranger one, but results are results. It's working for a lot of people, despite the mini nerfs that keep coming out, every letter patch.
10 seconds remaining.
I think Naga's going to be the most banned this entire tournament. I'm just putting it out there right now. The hero is busted.
Okay. What is it purely the support factor, or is there also the potential because it can be flexed?
Sure, there is that potential, but the Deluge is just way too good. Like 330 movement speed, high armor, good attack speed, a slow status resistance reducer. You can use it with your illusions as well. Your song heals. Reel in is not a meme if you're playing it as a support, which is insane. So I think it's just way, way, way too good.
Okay. Probably a big reason why we see it first phase ban, and you're expecting that to be the case for a lot of the tournament. So,
wonder if we'll see any Nature's Prophet come out. We're seeing a lot of that, specifically from Gaiman. They can play it in any role. So if they're able to, pick it up later on into this draft, you've got great tower taking potential. Then you've got the ability to, and I think why it's going to be good for Gaiman specifically is that the change to the Wrath of Nature, right? It doesn't cap out at 16 targets anymore. It's just that the damage caps out at 16 targets. So if you've got a lot of vision around the map, you can just shove out all of the lanes with a Wrath of Nature and join into a team fight. And then 1W are going to have to make a decision. They're going to have to say, well, we either take this team fight and potentially lose it, and we lose all of our creeps under the side lane, the other two towers that are being pushed in by creeps, or we have to retreat and potentially we lose a tower anyway because they're just going for a death ball in our lane, and who knows, maybe even someone gets picked off. So I think the way that NP is right now perfectly fits with Gaming Gladiators' overall strategy that they've had for the past few years.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of other teams as well. Just I should say players in particular, and their pub games experimenting with the Nature's Prophet. You know, the Ironwood facet and trying to be a really big nuisance, and seeing a lot of like mid Nature's Prophet and like you're saying the flex potential. So that's another hero that I'm expecting to see a decent amount of so far. But for 1W. We get the puck ban, so they do expect that this is going to be a Quinn hero loss, and that will be the case. The Quap's going to be picked up, and well, you ban the puck, which is a pretty good matchup versus the Quap. You will not have that as a response now for Chira Jr. Of course, like you were saying, there is potential for the Primal Beast to go mid if they want to, or put it off lane. How do you feel now, knowing the Queen of Pain matchup? They don't have a lot of time as well.
No, they don't have a lot of time. I mean, I don't necessarily hate, like, if it was going to be a DK1 Primal Beast into that, still feels okay. You know, all of that armor really isn't going to do that much against Primal with Trample, so that feels generally all right. I'm just thinking, like, what mid laners could you look to have against the Quap? You know, Bloodseeker doesn't really fit into this draft at all. It's a great Quap counter. Puck's already banned. Sure, why not? You know, just someone that's able to rotate around the map, that's able to respond to the Gaming Gladiators Death Ball.
I don't know why I have a feeling that this was a hero that there was some stage, maybe like it was a couple of weeks, nothing crazy, but we're actually getting Nature Prophet mid a while ago, and I have a feeling it was against this Queen of Pain, where you just like have so much overwhelming right click advantage with yourself and the treants, and you can always go back to base very easily, so you don't care about the dagger spam. So this will be interesting to see. Honestly, we were just speaking about the Nature's Prophet. I'm very excited. We get to see it now picked up for 1W, and we'll see, at least what I've been seeing, it's been played a lot as the mid lane. So very excited to see your kind of the difference there in play style. But now that we have 5 heroes on either side, is there a slight preference, or do we believe this is a relatively even draft between the two?
I think it's pretty even draft. I like the Quap just because I feel like they were lacking in damage, especially early on, and that's what the Quap's going to be able to provide. But if it does get to that, like, you know, level 20-ish mark, Chira Jr. is going to get Sprout leashing, and that is going to be very, very effective against the Queen of Pain, you know, being able to have that additional source to be able to lock her down. So the fact that you don't necessarily have a reliable stun isn't going to be as much of a factor anymore. So I personally, even though I think Gaming Gladiators could win the whole tournament, I like 1W's draft quite a lot.
Okay. How about before we get to that stage, though, with the leash on the Nature's Prophet? Do we feel like Gaming Gladiators, again, you know, we've spoken about a lot. This is a team that can run over a game very early on. Do we feel like they have the lineup to do that? And do we feel like 1W have, you know, the 5 men that they can actually combat the early game strength that we see so often with Gaming Gladiators to get to the late game where you feel like they might be a little bit stronger?
The thing that's concerning for me a little with Gaiman is that Ace is playing Slardar, right? Which, you know, he's a very, very skilled player, but Slardar isn't necessarily one of those heroes that wants to be building Crimson, Pipe, Greaves. So where is that ongoing sustain going to be coming from? Obviously, Celery can go the mech for the Chen. He's going to have that plus the Hand of God, but it's a lot of other auras that you're kind of foregoing to be able to make this this sort of thing happen. So I still think that they can look to put a little bit more emphasis onto Ace. You know, obviously you've got a mid Nature's Prophet, so he's going to have a lot of levels as well to be able to make a bunch of those early rotations. And I mean, their lane isn't weak by any stretch of the imagination, right? Like, it's a Sven Enchantress. That is not weak at all.
All right, let us see. First game here for the road to the international. Very exciting stuff. 1W, how are they going to be able to perform up against the Giants on Gaming Gladiators? See, nothing too surprising. Respect's going to be able to get out of the map, and I'm just going to say maybe drop an Observer, but he's got double Sentry, so no early stuff going on. Maybe a late smoke from Gaming? Solid info. Big tree. Just scouts out 5 heroes.
It's scouting out 5 heroes. Respect was also making sure, sorry, not Respect. Chira Jr. was also making sure to just walk it barely underneath the tower range to scout out if there were any Observer wards there. So nice little micro, didn't end up giving up anything. And Quinn eventually is going to be able to pop down an Observer ward on the 1W side of the map. So to me, the way this first, like, 10 minutes of the game is going to go is going to be dependent on A, how well does Chira Jr. go in lane, and can he get into his ultimate to be able to make a rotation onto Ace and, you know, look to kind of hinder him somewhat, as well as, you know, if you are able to get into those earlier, into an early point in the Wrath of Nature, you can shove out lanes very effectively, and you can make a lot of these moves that Gaiman are trying to do a bit more obvious, right? Because if there's creeps hitting a tower and no one's addressing them, it's clear that they're going for some sort of smoke.
Okay. Well, eyes on Cherry Jr. and how this Nature's Prophet is going to be able to go. He's already got the treads leveled up, sorry, queued up. And you see how this Ironwood Tree is able to perform. What do we think of the Queen of Pain as well? It did get some slight buffs in regards to, I think it was the Fassive. I don't even know. Masochist, I think. So how do we feel like this hero is currently in the meta? I've seen some other people try and experiment a little bit with pubs, feeling like it might be a little bit more viable.
I like the hero overall. Again, I feel like it did address a lot of what Gaiman were lacking in at the time, which was damage. And, you know, if you were looking to try and throw back some damage going the other way when they are trying to go for this death ball, you know, something like the Queen of Pain that has the bondage innate ability, it's got a bit of a return damage coming through as well. So you can afford to play a little bit more aggressively, I could say.
Top lane, of course, with Sellers. Chen, how do we feel about this as well? He's gone for the Seder convert. Is this... Do we feel like there's many that he could have chosen for? Or at the moment, Chen, is there only kind of a couple, or this one in particular that you can go for?
I like this one in particular, just because it's going to make spamming out your abilities a whole lot easier with that mana regeneration. Also, going up against Sweden Strong, you just want to be mana burning the Weaver, because if it's a support Weaver without mana, not really doing all that much. You know, the change to making his level 2 incredibly busted, right? Having Geminate Attack and Swarm and Shikuchi was way too good previously. So now that you don't get all 3 at level 2, you know, if he's got no mana, then he's feeling pretty happy.
Lastly, bottom lane, we see a bit of a brawl going between Respect and Tofu. Would you say this is a little bit more favored for the Enchantress? No, it seems like sometimes Rubik can have a bit of a difficulty with trading versus especially supports that have some way to be able to get a summon.
Yeah, not even just the summon, right? But also just the heal that you get off the back of it as well, right? The reduced damage coming, of course, through the Fade Bolt isn't going to be quite as impactful anymore. So I think, in general, both teams are going to be pretty happy with just sitting back and farming. My eyes are really just on this mid lane. Like I said, Chira Jr. is going to be the key for how 1W are going to be able to potentially open up this game. I wonder if he might even go for a TP back to base pretty soon as well, because he's sitting kind of low. And I don't know if Quinn actually wants to go for like a Shadow Strike build, right? I know you mentioned that, you know, with being able to go back to base, you kind of nullify that, but it doesn't really provide the damage that you need from the early game, right? I think he's just going to be a whole lot more focused on spamming out these waves of the Scream of Pain and enabling himself to be able to make these rotations and be those damage dealers once the fights break out.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
First little objective of the game, we do see the Lotus down bottom going towards Ace. Top, I think they just got it in time for Sweden Strong as well. Overall, very, very quiet start. Cloud is having a bit more of a difficult time, though, on the Primal Beast. Only 13 last hits at the moment. Creep Wave's in a pretty good position for the Dino to be able to see us relatively well under the tower, but we do see he's struggling a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, Sweden Strong has done a pretty decent job of keeping the wave pushed back. Again, like, this is such a strong lane. I really don't see them killing anyone. If you're 1W, right? DK, very, very tanky. Celery, he's just going to be able to give you the weight of numbers, and he's even getting a nice few wards now. So now the lane is actually going to swing the game in his favor.
What do we want to see out of Celery then? Like, if we feel like Diracho is kind of untouchable at top, are we really expecting a rotation pretty shortly through the gate for the Chen?
Potentially through the gate, or it's about reaching that time where he might even be considering going mid, right? As well, we speak about Celery, he's the one being dived.
Celery in some danger. They're going to have to damage Son at the tower, but it will not matter. They'll probably get a return kill onto Cloud with the aggro getting chained away to Sweden Strong. It actually will be enough to keep Cloud alive, so very nicely done. They'll strike first in our game 1.
Although, I mean, yes, it sucks that it's first blood. However, Quinn is just going to be rubbing his hands together, saying thank you very much. Might be looking to get a bottle refill potentially for this mid lane, because, you know, like we were saying, it's around that timing. There we go. Easy clap.
Calculated
it's around that 5 minute.
That's what he says.
It's always intentional. Oh, doing really well, Chira Jr. there. He ended up using the the fortify just to make sure that his creep wave didn't get nuked down. It's also going to enable them to potentially go for a bit of a dive here. Although Chira Jr., he's a little bit low on mana and health himself, so I'm not sure if he's going to go past the tower.
I was even keeping tabs down bottom as well. There was a lot of damage put into Tofu along with Ace at that moment, using the Warpine Raider to attempt to help dive the tower. Got a bit of damage into the objective as well. In fact, a decent amount of damage, almost 500 onto it. He's going to attempt jump under. Quinn finds a kill. Doesn't even need the Sonic Wave as well. Now we'll be able to TP back to base. So a solo kill for Quinn's Queen of Pain.
Queen of Pain is always very dangerous to have to go up against. Although, I gotta say, when he comes back alive, will he make a rotation towards this bottom side on the Nature's Prophet, right? 5 seconds away, Ace is very low, retreating towards the safety of his
Have they gone too
tower.
far?
Yeah, Quinn's there.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Doesn't seem like he's ready to go for that just yet.
Tofu?
And Quinn actually made a bit of a rotation. They weren't able to secure the Invis rune as well. So Quinn's actually going to get a bit of a freebie there. Not really giving up too much for that either with Gaming Gladiators. So very, very happy with that little exchange.
See what he can do with the Invis if there's anything crazy. Still, of course, has Sonic Wave, and we do see Celery hang around the lane.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a play to be had as Cloud is also aggressively pulling this top wave. They were starting to ping him out. Don't know if there's going to be a potential for that, but we have seen so far, though, 1W, we're really trying to put a lot of pressure onto this bottom lane on Gaming Gladiators, again, using the Enchantress creeps to dive, so maybe there is that potential, like you're saying, because we saw yet to see Chira Jr. move to another lane with the teleport, so maybe he'll go bottom, but we'll have to keep our attention on what they want to do next.
They got to be very mindful as well. Again, I'm just going to keep harping on about this Nature's Prophet, right? Like, might be using the Wrath of Nature, shoves in the lanes, and could potentially free up a time for him to TP in towards that Wisdom Rune. It's just coming up in 30 seconds or so, and someone's going to need to, deal with creeps hitting the towers or, kills being achieved just ahead of them, because Tofu and Ace, they're a little squishy right now, although they do have the movement speed coming out to them very shortly. Boots finished up for Tofu and Treads for Ace.
Pause. Hopefully everything is okay. See Celery starting to move her. So overall, 1 kill apiece, and still the last hits looking pretty even between either side. We will see how they're going to respond on 1W. So because Quinn again is playing very aggressive, and this is enabling Celery to maybe D-ward inside Radiant's triangle, potentially get an Observer Ward down as well. They do need to respond to this because Tower's taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, and again, like, this is what Gaming Gladiators do, right? This is no surprise. He's even going to yoink away the Ironwood tree, but unfortunately dies to the tier 2 tower.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Very late response though from 1W. Respect's going to finally move over. With the deep observers that they place though on gaming, they'll also scout out Sweden and Strong. So a lot of reactions from Radiant. This does mean that, of course, Darachi is free farming. This is a top net worth Dragon Knight. You've got Ace as well, who's still bottom net worth out of the cause, but is getting some catch up. Quinn gets the blink away.
He should be okay. Although Celery, he's the one that's being targeted right now by Sweden Strong. TP going to come in, and oh no, the Centaur Conqueror ended up turning against him there. So if you're going to focus in onto the jungle, that's going to be the case. And they clean up a few, and they get a nice little D-ward off. So good little rotation coming through, and there are a few people grouped around that mid lane as well. Right as that 8-minute mark is going to come out, will Quinn be lucky enough to secure another power rune? No, Respect yoinks it away.
Where's he going to jump to though? Sweden Strong up to the north. We'll have to go to the right side. No one there is currently positioned, but Tofu though stuck inside the Sprout. Be able to cut his way out, but it will not be enough. Oh, okay, you got to finish your food. It looks like they will be able to with the damage of the Blood Grenade. This tower as well should be okay with Celery being able to drag away the Greater Tree. Nonetheless though, okay, they'll take it back.
I mean, it's a lot of damage, and this is the thing, right? We needed to get off to a good start at the very beginning.
Have they got the damage? No, they don't. Now Quinn, he committed to the middle with the blink still on cooldown. Oh no, Quinn. Thought he had the damage, but not to be, and just the assist into the facet there. The extra healing from the overprotective Wisp keeps Respect alive. Tower goes down. And now a 2,000 net worth lead for 1W.
I was actually going to comment on it a bit earlier, but Chira Jr. loved the Raindrops purchase, right? Like, you're going up against Queen of Pain that has put 0 points in the Shadow Strike. It's all about that Scream of Pain. You're blocking so much damage, right? For only, what, 225, I think, gold to be able to buy it. I kind of want to see it on a bunch of these different heroes on 1W's side. It just feels like an incredibly good item for this game. Durachio might not be safe either.
So 1,500 health they're going to have to go through. A lot of armor on the Dragon Knight as well.
Got that Helm of Iron Will, that might make it a bit much, and the Spark of Courage.
Everyone, 5 heroes.
Sure.
Sorry, Durachio. This is a difficult one to be able to escape, and well, he will not escape indeed. They need every single hero to be able to bring him down. This will leave all the other lanes alone. I mean, Ace is pushing in bottom. Quinn's going to be able to snipe Moonkushi's courier, plus get a full creep wave, and they might not. Okay, they will TP in some heroes to defend the tower.
It's just really strong though. It doesn't have a ton of mana to be able to play around with either. So it's really just trying to keep this tower up for as long as possible. They're going to be once again hoping for a rune up on the top side, and they're going to get it. Cloud DD rune should be going his way. So they've been able to protect a lot of their real estate. They've gotten a bunch of kills. They've taken 2 tier 1 towers. They're basically playing the game in Gladiator strategy right now on 1W. This is a team that has clearly done their homework. Shout out to Achilles, their coach.
Let's see if this is going to be the advantage they need to bring them into an even mid game. Because we do see that person that you were mentioning in particular in gaming is Ace, who was bottom of the net worth and has caught up relatively well. I mean, it's now Quinn that is fallen a little bit behind, but after getting the tower for Ace, gets close towards the blink. Cloud will TP down before the tower dies, and with the assistance of the Nature's Prophet, there's not going to be enough to keep Slardar alive. Or maybe nice a stun along with the telekinesis. Ace actually able to slither away. Sweet and Strong feels like he can continue the chase. He's got to run straight to Quinn on the high ground, and the burst is almost enough, but the time lapse will come out in time. So the Weaver's able to stay alive. Tower will still go down at the bottom side of the map. So their first objective here for Gaming Gladiators.
It's very rare that you see Gaiman having to rotate that many people defensively though, right? Normally it's them being the ones proactive a lot of the time, and that's going to enable, like, yeah, there's a bit of a net worth difference. It's pretty much on the supports right now, though, right? Look at Respect. He's looking to build into that Solar Crest really early. You've got a Weaver who's nearly building into the Spirit Vessel at quite a good time. So it's going to be really effective against this heal, sustain style that you're going to get with the Hand of God, with the mech coming up shortly-ish for Celery, and of course just the DK with the Worm's Wrath.
What do we want to see out of the DK in particular? Durachio again is, I mean, we saw that one death prior. Okay, mid lane, Quinn blows up Sweet and Strong. This time the damage isn't going to be an issue, but Quinn, oh boy, just, disjoints the Stormhammer. And, I mean, we are seeing,
there we go.
Gives him the tip back.
I mean, it was a 4 kill streak as well, so that's a nice little injection of gold coming through for Quinn, who, by the way, go on the Dagon. So, if you are going to be the one jumping in, making sure that you're getting value out of the bondage innate ability, just having a little bit of that spell lifesteal coming through is going to be incredibly effective at just prolonging your life in a lot of these things. You can even see from the Ironwood tree, right? It's just stats that he wants at this point.
Back to the discussion of the carries, we do see Durachio is able to clean up a stack over at the triangle, and still, there are no stacks that have been made for 1W. This was a thing earlier with Celery dropping the sentry down, preventing that. I don't think they have tried anyways. So we do see this net worth lead continuing to go slightly into the favor of Durachio. Will be the Sunge as his next item. And when do we want to see him kind of start to join some of the fights? Because we know the Sven could be like a blink next item for Munkushi to get involved. What about the Dragon Knight? When do we feel like Durachio is going to want to start to show up to some of these early fights?
Let's have a look at what he's getting close to. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if, hold on, bottom side, Sweet and Strong's going to be able to get away. Once he's got the Sange, I wouldn't hate it, just because that's probably going to synergize fairly well with Celery getting the mech and Ace having the Blink Dagger, I believe, coming out to him right now. So they've got a bit of a timing here around that 14-minute mark to potentially make a play on Gaming Gladiators.
Do you have a preference on
playing the Celery game right now? He's like looking to be the rat himself with his Enchantress. I wouldn't be surprised if he just looked at a lot of Celery replays and modeled his game after that.
It's going to be the target of this movement, though. Of course, with the high ground observer, they are well aware of how aggressive Respect is farming, but this is not an easy kill. With 4 points up in the Nature's attendance, they will have to work for an Radiant. They're smoking over, and they're going to be fast enough to protect him and maybe get a rebuttal kill. He's still alive, and where's the team? Finally, they'll come charging into the middle as Cloud has the damage for Tofu. Quinn's going to push them back with a Sonic Wave. It's not enough, though, as Celery still gets chased down, and Ace is now stuck inside the Sprout. With a stun will fly out from Munkushi, and there's just nothing they're going to be able to do. Ace still should die under the 2-2 tower, not actually to be, as 1W will respect the potential of this starter and maybe anyone else to keep him alive. Nonetheless, so we do see how tanky this Enchantress can be.
Yeah, small mistake there from Chira Jr. as well. He was standing next to the Illusion Rune while he had the Corrosive Haze on him, so could have yoinked that one away. Instead, Quinn's going to be able to get away with actually finally getting a Power Rune for himself. Enables him to stay out on the map, feel a little bit more safe to be able to just go immediately back to the lane and farm.
I like what I'm seeing, though, Dano. We got a very even game. I mean, I definitely would say even myself, I didn't have as high expectations for 1W, and I think you said, you feel like gaming the team that you feel like will come out on top here for the international, and we see at the moment 1W really bring the fight to them.
I did like the draft, though. Come on, you got to give me some credit.
Yes, of course. You did, yes. Sorry, apologies. You did say.
No, that's all right. Yeah, Respect, like, he's literally, like, it's like I'm watching Celery play right now. He's just putting himself out there, being this roaming ward, giving so much space to, potentially play alongside Swedenstrong, right? I love supports that are able to, as soon as they're 6 or as soon as they hit their timings, are able to go for a kill just with the two of them, right? And it's not just the two of them, because at any point in time, Chira Jr. can look to join in. He's got the Maelstrom now, he's building into the Glipnir as well, so a little bit more of that control that they're going to look to play around. I think they know that he's farming in this quote-unquote safe area, though, because they've made the jump.
And it's a perfect read from them, though. Chira Jr., it's going to be the second death of the game here for the Nature's Prophet. And they've got a creep wave that's, never mind, a little bit far away. It's a creep they've actually taken over, so won't be able to maybe convert that into some damage on the tower, but a really good move from them. They might be able to go mid, though. This tower doesn't have a lot of health.
Using the Co-op Illusions right now to be able to tank it up. I mean, I wouldn't hate Duraccio joining in, and, like I was saying, once he's got the Sange, once they've got the mech, once they've got the Blink Dagger, they really weren't scared at all about what 1W were going to be able to throw back the other way. So that's just a good understanding of how, not necessarily like playing the player versus playing the hero. When you've got a Nature's Prophet, you know that you can farm in this quote-unquote safe area because you can just TP anywhere. It wasn't safe. Gaiman knew exactly where he was.
This time for Respect, it's not safe as well, so they'll get the kill. It'll take a while. Let's see. I don't know if there was any read of the Observer. They've already got a Sentry, okay. Nice D-Ward as well, so it's going to make it a little bit more difficult for Respect to play aggressively. So we've seen Gaming Gladiators being able to offset some of the momentum that was being built from Radiant. We'll see what they want to do next. Some of their forces being drawn towards top. Ace, he's only got 1 point in the Corrosive Haze, so maybe this is still enough for them to threaten Roshan. We do see them sticking around. In fact, they're going to go down bottom once again.
Right after their ward just got de-warded as well, so clearly just thinking that maybe Chira Jr. is going to go back to the same well again, and they would be right, although he's got some pretty good micro on his tree in here to be able to scout that one out before it reaches him, so nicely done. Just those little plays, right? Not sending the tree in just straight to the neutral camp, using it as that extra scouting potential. He's dead if not for that.
Needs to continue to stay alive because at the moment, close towards a Gleipnir, but still bottom net worth. I mean, still it's very even between everyone, so a team fight victory and they could pole vault themselves up towards the top. We are going to see a fight occur around top. Finally, Munkushi's feeling ready to go. They'll run into Duracho, who maybe isn't the primary target. 2,600 health. Ooh. This is not an easy kill. Chira Jr. over to the north. They'll jump in over towards Tofu. They want to deal with the Rubik and turn to Ace next with the blink up shortly. We'll be able to jump down to the low ground. It looks like the TP will be successful, but they should be able to. God Strength activated with Chira Jr. here as well. It doesn't seem like there's going to be a response from Gaming Gladiator. So they were the team that wanted to fight into this objective, but it's going to be 1W that actually get the first ages of the game by the looks of it.
They were so close to being able to claim more, right? Went for the Sven stun onto the small camp just to try and get that splash stun onto the Duracio DK, but not quite able to claim it. But I think they're going to be very, very happy to secure Roshan.
Can't they fight now? No God Strength. You might be able to force the issue. Someone's able to catch them, though. Chira Jr.'s going to look for a TP out. That's a nice spot. Duracho won't scout him out. They've got vision, however, from Sweden Strong with the time lapse already used. They'll at least get the kill onto the Weaver, which is a consolation prize, and probably this tower as well.
Okay, yeah, 1 kill, 1 tower. Feels okay, right? It doesn't feel amazing. I actually wonder if Gaiman might consider just sticking around here, you know, farming a few ancient camps and prepping for that Tormentor, because it's only coming up in about a minute or so. You know, it's going to take them so long to be able to get down to Chira Jr. to try and go for a kill here, so they've planted their flags.
Respect. They're gone straight. They're looking to try and target down Duracho. Cloud once again with a charge through. This time do they have the damage, but the Hand of God's going to come out. Seller is falling low. They haven't addressed Quinn with the Queen of Pain untouched at the moment. Finally, the Pulverize is going to be there. Quinn's in some danger. Can he get the blink away over to the high ground? Quinn tries to escape. This is giving Duracho now some moments to be able to right-click down some of the heroes. With Chira Jr. gone, has Munkushi got the damage? Finally, God Strength is back online. They'll be able to close the distance onto Ace on the high ground, but the Slaughter only has Tofu nearby, but Tofu will snipe the Aegis. Ace surviving for much longer than expected, but he will still be killed off nonetheless inside the river. So a 2 for 2 if you include the Aegis. Not too bad all things considering the Munkushi didn't have God Strength for pretty much that full duration of the fight.
I think the other thing as well is that you didn't finish your food with Celery. He got away on about 50 HP and he was able to cast Divine Favor 3 times in that fight. So providing 6 regen per second, 20 armor to a lot of these targets that you're trying to go on. And when you consider it's, you know, a Nature's Prophet, pretty much exclusively right click. Weaver, not that strong right click right now, but a Sven absolutely, without the God Strength, is going to nullify a whole bunch of that damage. So the fact that they were able to get away with like a relatively even kill exchange there, I think it's not bad for 1 win, but again, I feel like it's been the case this game that it just could have been so much better. A lot of almosts coming through for me.
Yeah, we're seeing inside this replay in particular how difficult Chira Jr., his role is inside the team fights. It's very hard for you to position yourself in the Nature's Prophet. You TP into the middle, all of a sudden you've got a Slaughter jumping on top of you, you've got the Queen of Pain burst damage, you're the DK up in your face as well, and we are seeing he have some, there's a couple deaths in a row now inside some of these team fights, so we'll see if he's going to be able to continue to have some success as the game goes on. What for him actually even in particular, how should he be taking this fight? Should he be TPing last on the outskirts? Do we want to continue to see him TP in so aggressively?
I think you can, just because you are building into a lot of stuff that's going to be able to protect him, right? Like you've got the Solar Crest now on Respect, so that's going to provide a whole lot of additional safety. You know, you're building into a Hurricane Pike for yourself. So again, just being able to, like he was caught inside of his own Sprout that time by Tofu, I think, in that previous engagement. So just to be able to get out of a few of these things yourself is going to be such a big deal for him. I think with the Glypnir, with the even just the Dragon Lance provides a whole lot of extra survivability.
Is
Munkushi here though? No, should be fine.
Oh, yes. Okay, now they're all funneling towards top as well for 1W, so this should be a tier 2 tower that's going to go their way. Meanwhile, Gaming Gladiators have some heroes on the opposite side of the map who will get the Tormentor, but we'll see without their forces kind of nearby to protect it. I think this should go down after the glyph.
Just trying to think of what you would actually want here with the Rubik. Obviously, it's not an amazing game. Like the Ag Shard with the Warcry would be kind of nice for Tofu to be able to steal away now that he's got the Shard himself, but I think he's going to be very, very happy just to take that Shikuchi for himself. I mean, we were casted some of those China qualifiers. We saw Ponlo in particular with his Rubik. Any chance that he got, he was able to do just a massive amount of havoc.
Seeing that maybe they were going to try and force the issue with the double damage rune on Munkushi, but unfortunately there's probably not going to be a fight, at least an opportunity for them to take the fight. So they will actually smoke on 2. Playing behind Munkushi is going to try and shove the wave up. I don't know if
Tofu might have seen.
Yeah.
It's daytime, they would have. So how are Gaming going to be able to respond to this? Celery and Ace kind of clumped up together. Tofu really feels like he's just acting as a smoke breaker right now, using his Watcher vision as much as possible to be able to provide that extra safety. I think we should be able to get away with just that, although Duracho...
Quinn's not here.
Yeah, and Duracho's hung around for a little bit too long. How long's left on that smoke? Can't be too long, yeah, just about 5 or so seconds, so just playing
Tofu's going to run
safe as
first.
possible space. Tofu
Going to be able to get the start. Cloud, no, he's not actually. Now, Ace with the counter initiation in the middle. This is going to buy them enough time for Quinn to TP in.
Chira's indeed.
And may have isolated Chira Jr. as well. He is in, and they need to protect him. The rest of the team's going to try and run over, but Chira Jr. still doesn't have the backup. Can you take the fight 4-on-5 now with the big Gibby? He's going to get activated from Durachi with a turn. Cloud in a lot of danger. Look at the damage start to rain in the crits along with the minus armor. This was just a messy fight. 1W. They tried to take it into the home of Gaming Gladiators, but now they're going to lose a fourth as well. Ace snipes respect on the TP, and they lose no one. Maybe an opportunity where you catch Tofu at the start, get rid of the Rubik, the spellcaster, before Quinn's able to get there, but that is not to be. An incredible fight for the boys on Dire.
I mean, if you ever say that supports don't decide games, just watch that replay, right? Tofu in the perfect position, not only to be able to protect his carry, but also scouts out the smoke, gets away himself because he's already got the Shikuchi stolen. He was right in the right place in the mid lane as well, putting his life in danger to be able to just force a little bit of pressure away from that lane as well. He is an exceptional player, not just on the Rubik, but any sort of hero. And yeah, Chira Jr. might have just gone in a little bit too deep there. They've got the Deep Observer Ward to be able to provide a little bit of extra safety to him, but it's not like this game and lineup where you've got, you know, the Greaves, the Hand of God, all this other stuff to be able to protect him. It's pretty much him on his own if he's in that deep.
I mean, he's still third in net worth, but we really see him have a difficulty to stay inside some of these team fights, and you know, maybe the damage is going to be a little bit lacking now with the Crimson Guard picked up from Ace as well.
Could certainly see that. Although you are going up against an Enchantress, right? So you can dispel off the Crimson Guard. That's always going to be a factor. So maybe Respect is just going to be holding that up until it's used, just to make sure that you always do have that turnaround potential.
I've seen Gaming though slight net worth lead go their way, about up to 4,000, which is actually the largest lead we've had so far. Mid lane Cloud maybe gives them an opportunity. Crimson Guard still yet to be activated, but the team late to actually move over, so there will be no fight had. They're still sticking around bottom, and Kushi didn't want to join them either with Chira Jr. as well, so a big opportunity. Mid pushed in, top pushed in. Maybe some objectives to be had. Duracho with that level 20 is really ready to go.
Is indeed, and look at his item build as well, right? He's gotten into the Daedalus. I was saying he needs to be a little bit more farm-oriented, not play the Duracho way, just putting himself in harm's way a lot of the time. And he's sat back. He's got to, like you said, that level 20. He's gone the extra attack range as well, so he's your big sieger. And I just want to point out as well a few of the itemization choices as well from neutral items. DK going the Light Collector, so he's not going to get isolated inside of a Sprout from Chira Jr. You even got an Iron Talon still on Ace right now, so he's always going to be able to just chop that away, not only with the Iron Talon, but his Quelling Blade as well.
It's a very interesting move. Yeah. Difficult to read. You've got Duracho off than you would expect. Probably the team's playing behind him when he's sieging this aggressively onto the tower. Everyone else is going to sweep to the right side of the map. Unfortunately, they will not be successful with this. Everyone is three heroes back inside the base.
And that's the main objective, right? Like, you got the tower. That's what you were looking to accomplish there. And, you know, no one, again, dealing with that bottom lane. Pushing in makes the rotation a little bit obvious, but I think 1W are very conscious of the fact that, okay, well, we haven't taken a few fights on our terms. We really need to try and set up around this Roshan right now, because that is the next key objective. It's up in 2 seconds. Quinn just missing out on that scout out there.
The train is scouting Celery. I don't know if there's going to be much they can do with it. It's not bad indeed, but the rest of the team's starting Rosh, and it's falling fast. They need to go soon.
A little slow.
What's the call? 1W Moonkushi, can he enter the middle of the fight? They're going to try and go to the north this time, once again onto Celery. But they got the damage they do. They're going to commit everything to bring him down. They'll deal with the secondary support as well, but now the cores, they've gone uncontested, but Quinn stuck inside the Sprout. He'll go down, but Duracho, this Dragon Knight with the buff up of the Corrosive Haze, they'll be able to turn over Chira Jr. You know, the Nature's Prophets had a difficult time inside the team fights, and this one is no different. As Gaming Gladiators, they stuck around the Dragon Knight, and they should be rewarded as well. Another kill over to the east. Ace and Tofu combination together. As we saw 1W this time, you know, you were able to deal with the supports to start, but it just didn't matter. The cores, in particular, Duracho, are too far ahead.
I I think they're just second-guessing themselves too much. A bunch of these rotations have just been a little bit too slow for mine, and Gaming Gladiators, their minds click instantly. They say, okay, this is what's happening, let's make a decision, and let's make it right now. It's what sets the good teams apart from the great ones. I think Amar is another one of those players that just instantly commits to an idea. And for them, you know, that previous rotation towards the enemy triangle, the rotation there to try and contest Roshan, if it was even like 3 seconds sooner, maybe they don't continue in there to commit to Rosh. Maybe you know, have an outnumber for a little bit longer time, but just because of that slight delay, it means that not only do you lose the Aegis, not only do you lose the Roshan's banner, but you also have, I think it was a 3-for-2 trade going against you.
See, there's momentum really starting to build for GG. Back-to-back fights. Duracho starting to get untouchable. Satanic queued up for him next. See how they're going to... You know, this is one thing about these players and teams that do not have a lot of experience. How are you going to be able to slow the game down and find a fight that might work in your favor? This is the fight.
Very clever by Celery as well, though. He was farming the camp inside of the 1W triangle and made sure to keep that Sado Banisher there. He wants to be able to get rid of that Crimson Guard if Cloud ends up popping it to try and survive himself.
Natal? It's just gone. River Quinn? Be able to get rid of the shield rune. Quinn's in a lot of danger, man. Look at this. All right.
And again, this is prior to the level 20 talent on the Nature's Prophet. So that is a big pick-off to be able to not only delay out that Aegis, but to get a lot more net worth and, more importantly, experience going the way of the NP. They're going to follow, not going to follow it, but they know where GG hunkering down right now because of that courier. They're actually just going to walk up onto the high ground. Is this the right choice?
Ace isn't bad. He's going to be able to get the blink away, though. And like you said, is this the right choice now? Because look at Duracho's position on the high ground, giving them all the information. Munkushi assassinates Tofu. They want to just completely avoid Duracho. And that will result in a successful team fight for them. And now with the Pulverize being used, Duracho should be able to TP out in the cover of the BKB.
Quinn is such a big amount of their damage, dude. They gotta make sure that he is there for a lot of these engagements. And they're not even going to waste the God Strength as well. Just instantly nuking down that Tormentor. Not the greatest one to be able to give over. The Rock Throw doesn't feel amazing for Cloud, considering, you know, his role in this game to really be that durable bruiser, I guess you could say. But with those kills, he's finished up the BKB for himself. He's got Pulverize rank 3 nearly ready, so it's a lot of extra damage that they're going to have coming out very, very soon.
In regards to the itemization on Munkushi, actually hold that, Chira Jr. Ooh, okay, far out. Very nicely done. Do we like the AC from Munkushi, or do we feel like you would prefer a little bit more damage out of this Fen?
Well, Chira Jr. actually had it queued up for the longest time, and I think he's just switched into the BKB very recently. I'm sure that's probably a discussion that they're having live right now. Like, is this something that we need to give to him? Is this something that Munkushi needs? Because he's not really short on durability himself, right, as the Sven. You know, you can pop the Warcry, you can be A-OK. But for the Nature's Prophet, I'm feeling a little bit more anxious about that sort of thing, right? It's not the old NP where the teleport, you know, gave you a bunch of damage and then converted into armor. It's just a flat 250 barrier, which is nothing at this stage of the game. It seems like they're fully willing to just commit to him as the full-on glass cannon. I guess with the Vindicator's Axe, he can feel a little bit better about things. You know, that plus 20 armor if he's stunned, and they've got a few stuns on GG.
Stuns are starting to move towards bottom, swinging strong. A bit of a pest trying to shove out the wave. There is a creep that has made it towards the T2 tower. Duracho should make quick work of this objective. Still have Aegis for another 10 seconds, which will result in that last outer tower going their way.
He's played pretty well as Sweden Strong. In 9, 4, and 6, he's level 17, he's built into an Atos for himself. Looks like he's going for the Lotus Orb because they are very single target focused, particularly with those stuns that we were talking about. They're going to need to defend that tier 1 tower a little bit. And like you said, Aegis reclaimed, so it's like GG feel that they've got enough out of this. What's Duracho got coming out to him now? Has he got the Satanic finished already? God damn, man is farmed.
So, yeah. Yeah, his boy is huge. 24. Looks like he's going to buy the recipe for the Aghanim Scepter as well to free up an item slot. You do see, like, here's the thing though. He has pretty much all the net worth advantage here for Gaming Gladiators. So, you if he's unable to right click inside some of the team fight, I don't think the game plan ever is to go for Duracho, right? Because we've kind of seen the success has been deal with the support. So we'll see. How do the fights need to look differently as well for GG? Because the last one in particular was they just sniped Quinn, and then without the damage from Quinn, you were saying the fight just looked a bit different.
Yeah, I think you got to just dangle the right sort of heroes on the front lines, right? And it's really just going to depend what... Sorry, I'm looking at Tofu nearly dying to the Tormentor. It's really just going to depend on what tools you have. Like, if Tofu has the Shikuchi, it can be him, you know? He's got the Dandelion Amulet. He's got the Solar Crest for himself. He's, you know, got a Chen to be able to help him out a little bit. You don't want the Chen to be jumped on first. You probably just can put the DK out there, right? And force them to commit onto you. I mean, you've already taken all tier 2 towers, so maybe it's even just going to be a game of waiting for the next Roshan, getting a free... What will it be? You know, refresher, Ags, whatever it is. Like, it's just going to advantage GG so much more to enable that high ground push and just playing around Duracho. Basically force them to respond to him rather than avoid him entirely.
Which is something we have seen so far they haven't really done. You know, that top tier 3 tower went down up top very easily. Ace, I would scout out Sweden strong, but it's time to be able to get the time lapse away. He's fine. Yeah, we did see, of course, some of the other towers and even mid when he was starting to beat into it. You know, 1W didn't really want to do anything versus Duracho, so they do get that Aegis and they do get that opportunity to group up. Could be some trouble. It does look like we're going to start to see GG start to play together.
I mean, they're just trying to buff up Duracho as much as possible now, right? Like you said, basically all of the net worth is on him, but who cares, you know? Like, he hasn't gone for the AoE Dragon Tail just because... 1W.
Cloud mid lane tried to try and kill the wave, and now he's in a lot of trouble. BKB, is it going to be enough? So he ran into the trees, Cloud. What? He could have kept running. He's going to try and TP out. Will he escape? Do they see him, Cloud? He makes it out. Now respect. I don't think he's going to be able to make it out. Looks for the sprint down to the low ground, but Duracho can hunt him. This is a kill right in front of the tower. They can lead this into objectives. That is a big mistake from 1W, and GG are a team that you give them this opportunity, they will punish you.
That Glyph is going to be able to deal with the siege creep wave right now. Sweden Jong just sending out a few of those beetles as well, but it's not going to hold them back again. Duracho, he's got the extra regen. He's got a Solar Crest for himself. Just rally around him. Why not?
They're going to try and fight. Sweden Strong is looking for the supports in the backline. Me on Cloud and Makushi smoking all the way around. Look at the vision Sweden Strong has provided them. Quinn tries to disrupt with the blink in. Rinkushi targeting down with the Queen of Pain, stuck inside the Sprout with the leash. Rinkushi finally able to get the right clicks out. Is it enough? Quinn falling low with the blink. It's not going to be there in time. Eyes on Duracho. What he's going to be able to do with the stun lock. It is perfect. Or is it Sweden Strong? Time lapse out of the last second. Tiro Jr. also looking for the TP. Aces, he got the stun. A millisecond short. He's going to be able to escape as well, but they may just go back to the higher ground here on GG.
Yeah, you've used a lot of your tools right now. You don't have the time lapse for 20 seconds. Most importantly, though, you don't have the Sven. Like, what is stopping them from just hitting into a lot of these towers? Chira Jr. putting himself out there just because there is no one else right now, and we very rarely say Duracho is hard carrying this game, but
they found
man
Tofu.
is doing it.
Cloud now in the middle of the team fight. Chira Jr. being able to right-click freely. Ace, they'll be able to deal with the starter. Cloud might be able to stay alive as well, but the force half close to the base. No, they get the crits. Cloud at least is a buyback. Sweden strong time lapse in, but Sentry already laid down and a quick response from Tofu's telekinesis.
I don't think you could ask for a better start to a tournament than this for GG, right? Like, they have just done amazingly well. Even just with the Aghanim's blessing on Duracho, he doesn't care about the sprout. He's just happy to move on forward. Look at him. Look how tanky.
Oh my god.
And this is just going to be mega creeps. Walk it down. It might have taken, 10, 15 minutes longer than the usual GG sort of play, but eventually they would not be denied.
Okay. Flies out. Nice leash, bro. Jiro? Sure, TP'd into the lane, but everyone else retreated over to the outpost. Makushi's going to try and tuck them down. It's a pretty decent stun onto two. Now, but the quad held into place as well. Quinn in some danger, but they're lacking the damage. And we've seen that be the case onto Duracho. Duracho does not care. Stands his ground. They just don't have the answers towards the Dragon Knight. He's going to go uncontested. It's only one death for him. They'll be able to deal with Tofu, but it just doesn't matter in the end. This goddamn Dragon Knight. Duracho has made it look flawless so far, and They might be able to get respect. Ace is there in the nick of time. Respect will go down as well.
That should be it. A minute without two of your cores. Mega Creep's already down. Dyrachyo beyond godlike. 12, 1 and 4. It's been an amazing game for him so far, and it's just I don't even want to say it was a lack of respect. Again, it was just that the lack of a killer instinct, I guess you could say, from 1W, right? It's most of their first TIs. They just want to be able to do the safe thing, but oftentimes the safe thing isn't going to get you the win.
Fortunately, it is not.
Play things out,
But it's not going to
a
matter.
matter of 30 seconds to be able to secure it all. They just want to, feels like have a bit of a party here. Dyrachyo's feeling himself a little bit. He doesn't want to hit towers. He wants to kill people. He feels unkillable.
Look at Ace. Okay, he was hitting the tier 4 tower. I wanted to jump in, enjoy the fun, but the G's going to be dropped as well. So, yeah, GG going to be able to take game 1. They had to work for it in the end, 39 minutes, and it's a relatively early victory, all things considering, but this game was very, very close, and 1W, are there any takeaways from them? I don't know if I should even like lead with this, because you're always your props to Gaming Gladiators and what they're able to do to get the victory, but still with your 1W, this was a team that you were expecting to, this is going to be a difficult run for them, and they really brought it to GG. I was quite impressed. So what do we want to see out of them heading into this next game?
Just make him perfect level 25.
I'm just saying,
the
guys,
left
you just need
talent,
to be
GG.
confident. You know, like the draft was good. You played the lanes amazingly well. First few rotations
lose
were great.
like
You were able to
shit.
take multiple towers against GG's lineup, who
is
is,
noob.
you know, centered around that. And just
I
a
don't
few
know,
bad
noob or
team
not,
fights
can't
meant
play
that,
with this
you know,
stuff.
things slowly started to
Yeah,
just
bullshit
go
items.
in the favor of
Build Midas,
GG. It was,
Refresher,
I believe, a 4K net
Octarine,
worth,
get level
only like
25,
15 minutes in for
fuck everyone.
1W, but just this one fight in particular.
Even if the
was really
Dragonite
what
is hitting
turned
here,
the tide a bit more towards GG.
you just
You
put
know,
down
lose a
there
couple
and
of
boom.
cores, you lose
Easy.
Sweden Strong as well on his Weaver, who was pretty farm for a support. Only Munkushi ends up getting away, and it's all the result of Tofu just scouting out that smoke, both in the lane as well as being that smoke breaker inside the triangle. I think they just need to be a little bit more committed with their movements, I could say.
Am I getting too far ahead of myself saying, like, I don't know, this DK carry hero? Because I was not particularly expecting it to look like this heading into the tournament. Like, my eyes were on some other carries in particular, but is this just like, you know, it's just one game? Should I not get too far ahead of myself? Or, like, is this something that, you know, maybe is going to be on other teams' radars as well?
I think they just let it get a little bit too late, right? Like, the DK is incredibly strong in the right circumstance, but it takes him a while to get to that stage, right? Not the biggest damage dealer early on outside of being able to take towers, but if you go that splash facet, if he's able to get into the Daedalus, plus, you know, it was the Satanic really that turned the tide for me, you know, just being able to stand in the center there, not give two rats about the outcome there. It really just meant that he could full on commit and finally force people to focus on him as opposed to the rest of his team, because that's what was given 1W a lot of their successes, right? Being able to take out Quinn, being able to take out Ace, getting rid of these Chen auras, the Rubik just being really annoying with sprouts and stuns and what have you. So yeah, it was the inevitable coming through from Dyrachyo and silencing a lot of the haters in their first game.
Yeah, without a doubt. So let's see what they're going to be able to do with the momentum here for Gaming Gladiators. A very good start, and again, you know, we'll see how impressive they can continue with this run so far. And, you know, for 1W was a good showing as well in game 1. We'll see what they're able to do to kind of make amends where they feel like they went wrong and what they want to do to change things up. But overall, was a good showing, and we'll see. And anything in particular, again, maybe in regards to the draft that we would like to see changed a little bit, or are we kind of, you know, nothing in particular?
Nothing in particular, really. It felt like this Rubik was a bit of like a Weaver answer, but, you know, again, lowish damage was there from Gaming Gladiators. So I feel like the game could have been very, very different if a couple of those smokes just turned out differently. No, I think it was much more on like decision making versus anything to do with draft. Like Chira Jr. going for a little bit too deep of a TP in a couple of times. You know, again, just a bit slow with a few of the movements there from 1W. But overall, it was a good showing from both teams. GG showing the resilience to come back from a deficit, as well as a different overall strategy, right? In the lead up to this series, I said Ace was the one that you need to focus on. Dyrachyo has shown now that if you give him the reins to be able to do it on the biggest stage of the year, he's the one that is going to be able to do it if you give him the right circumstances. So no, not so one-dimensional anymore, Gaming Gladiators, which is great to see.
Yeah, without a doubt it is. But it is just game 1 here for the road to the international. We'll send to a break. When we come back, we've got game 2 with 1W taking on Gaming Gladiators.
Gaming Gladiators, last year's runners-up, are back again to try and claim the Aegis, and doing so they've already taken EWC on their path here, and I'm now joined by Ace. Obviously, TI, and especially big for you as is in your hometown. I mean, you're literally 10 minutes away. What's it like to play here?
It's something that I honestly never thought would happen, because like Dota has not been that popular in Denmark for quite a while now, but like it's like so amazing. Like it's been so chill. We also been boot camping here. Like it's just so chill for me. I just came here like 20 minutes ago. My brother just drove me.
Amazing. So you know, are you going to be able to have all like your family and everything and your friends at the arena for the finals?
Yeah, I think like a lot of my family will come, and like most of my friends also.
So obviously last year, you know, you had a phenomenal run last year, you know, game were the team to beat. And this year, I think kind of people started to maybe doubt you or count you out, but then you just come back, you know, prove them all wrong with a phenomenal past few tournaments. You know, how does that happen? How did you do that? Was that like the game? Was it you guys? Was it, you know, your opponents? You know, how did this come about?
Kind of a mix, I would say. Like when you win a lot, the game definitely keeps like nerfing your strategies and your heroes. There's so many frequent patches, and whoever wins what they play the most will always get nerfed.
Yeah.
And this just kept happening and happening and happening. And after every tournament, you have to like find new stuff. You really have to try it again and again and again. And you keep doing this for so long, it gets pretty hard to like keep it going.
Yeah.
So I think people got a bit exhausted by like tryharding after every tournament and getting the motivation all the time.
Yeah.
So I think that was like the main problem. But now also after not winning so much for a while, I think we just kind of got a lot of the drive back again. And now then it just worked out for Saudi.
How do you think about last TI and especially those grand finals?
There's been so many tournaments, but like we had a pretty crazy lower bracket run.
Yeah, and the grand finals versus Team Spirit and everything.
Yeah, that year was just like pretty crazy because feel like we were pretty bad, and like.
Oh really?
Yeah, like we went pretty much like straight to lower bracket. I think almost like didn't we have like full lower bracket run almost? But somehow we just managed like to claw through games and then make it all the way to the final against Spirit. In that final, we did not play what we usually play, like in the semi-final and every games before that. That's also something we had talked a lot about and like worked on. Mm-hmm. That like why did that happen? Like what happened in that final particularly? And I do think it's something to do with some players. They do set TI, they regard it as like way above everything else.
Yeah.
That can easily create like this bit of pressure.
Yeah. That
can go to like choky mindset and this kind of just happened for us. So hopefully. Like we talked a lot about it, but hopefully it's not really something that's going to happen when we're going to play in this final.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously it didn't happen or did it happen at EWC and you learned to kind of beat it, you know, what was the...
Yeah, I mean, again, like we've been in a lot of finals. I think we have a pretty good final win radio. Mm-hmm. But again, like EVC, it's not really a TI. TI is just a bit special. And can create more pressure somehow because people really want to be part of the I have one TI club.
Yeah.
Get the rings or whatever you get, you know, all the stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what would it mean for you personally, you know, on home soil nonetheless to be able to win it, to hold that Aegis, you know, what would that be like for you?
As soon as I knew that TI was going to be in Denmark, then I instantly thought, oh shit, man, like if I'm ever going to win a TI, I definitely want to win this one.
Yeah, in front of your friends and family as well.
Yeah.
That'd be incredible.
So it means a lot.
Who do you think your biggest supporter is going to be in the crowd? Who's going to be screaming the loudest for you when you do get on that stage?
Usually it's the people who's like sitting with the GG boys, like the org, and then they usually have like the Giga fans around, mm-hmm. and then like they usually have some drinks and stuff.
Those guys will be the loudest.
Those guys you can usually hear, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming to talk to us, Ace, and thank you so much, and best of luck, obviously, TI.
Thank you for having me.
And we are back with the road to the international. Gaming Gladiators able to get their first victory on the board. It was a good game nonetheless from 1W. Unfortunately, just not enough to get them over the finish line. We'll see what we have in store for us heading into our upcoming game. Denok, we saw some of the bans in particular were what we were expecting overall in regards to some of those really strong heroes. And you mentioned like the Tinker, the Naga to be addressed as well. And Just before I guess we get underway, we can even say some of the results that are going on the other stream, because we do have your 2 other streams, and all those streams are going to have 5 best of 2 games. So Extreme were able to get game 1 over Heroic, and then we saw Tundra take down Talon as well. So we'll see who's going to be able to get that first 2-0 on the board when we head into this upcoming game.
Doesn't have to be a 2-0, could be 1-1s, and that's the thing, right? It could have very well been a bit of an upset in the game 1 here on this stream. I think 1W, they'll be happy with 1W going up against the reigning Esports World Cup champions, as well as TI Grand Finalists, Gaming Gladiators, right? Like you just heard there from Ace that clearly they felt like their last TI wasn't even close to their highest potential, right? They went on an amazing run here in the lower bracket last year, of course falling to Spirit at the very end, but how much of a buff would it have to be, by the way, just to be able to be playing literally 10 minutes away from your home? If you're playing just as the hometown hero.
Yeah, I mean that would be incredible. I can only imagine where we've got a couple other players as well, right? Where you always see them playing from home, and it must be a great feeling with having. Hopefully, they get to have family in the crowds as well, if we're able to get to that top 8, which of course is now crowned as the actual international. So that would be very exciting, and very much expecting Gaming Gladiators to be one of those teams that can make it at least all the way to that position.
Yeah, I would agree. They showed me resilience in that game, right? And we're talking to like they haven't done this for, years and years and years. But I was a little concerned about them. Yes, Esports World Cup champions, but in their tournament that they played recently, third party one for Fisher, they got knocked out pretty much instantly. So that was a little bit of a shock to the system. I was worried that maybe they hadn't adapted to this latest patch quickly enough, but clearly, they're able to shrug off some downsides. Yes, it was helped a little bit by some indecision from 1W, but still, they've got the experience, they've got the know-how to be able to get the W when it really matters.
And overall with the draft though from 1W, do we feel like there needs to be, again, any adaptations in regards to like the playstyle we see from Gaming Gladiators? Do we feel like that and their playstyle early was pretty solid to be able to combat a lot of the tempo that we see out of gaming?
I think you could look to do it 2 ways, right? Like you can look to be counter-initiating against what Gaming are trying to throw at you because you know that it's going to come, right? Or you can look to kind of get ahead of the curve and look to get them before they get you. And that's what they did a few times against Quinn, right? So the fact that Quinn was even able to get the first blood in the mid lane, not first blood, but a first kill up against Chura Jr. was huge, but then again, they were able to catch Quinn a few times. They were able to catch Celery and Tofu a few times. They were able to nullify Ace's effectiveness for quite some time in a lot of those engagements, right? So I think they're clearly just backing themselves to be able to say, look, we're good enough and we play fast enough to be able to beat out GG with what they think is best. So I could see them doing it again. It really just, from one win side, comes down to decision-making. From GG, decision-making is all there in my eyes, but maybe just a tiny bit more damage for the early game is what I would be looking for from them.
Okay. In regards to 1W as well, like who do we feel like you just overall for the team are going to be looking at to be like maybe the main shot caller or like the decision maker for this team? Who do you want to lead them and stand out? Because again, this is a very inexperienced young team. You'd honestly probably say Sweden Strong is maybe the most experienced out of all of them, with his stint on Navi where he played at the Last Chance qualifiers. I believe there was Arlington Major as well. But how do you even go into a team like that and make discussions when it's very difficult to have that one person who has a lot more experience?
Yeah, I mean, he has a lot more experience. Who knows? Maybe the hierarchy in the team is based by age. If so, Cloud's going to be the one that they're all looking up to, right? Even though he's only 24. I'm talking like he's a freaking boomer. But, it's one of these things where it might just come down to a team that doesn't really have too many egos. Obviously, they've come together after TI12. They've had a lot of good results on the board. They've made grand finals. They've beaten out a lot of the Eastern European mainstays to be able to get to a lot of these tournaments, and they're here at the road to the internationals. So I think it's just going to be another one of those things where it's going to be very hero dependent. It's going to be very timing dependent. Like I don't think there is a main shot caller. It might just be like a hype man, that they're looking to rally around.
Okay, maybe the coach can be that hype man as well, where you rally around him, and then I guess in the game he can't particularly help out that much, so maybe someone needs to fill the shoes, and we'll see which will be the case. We do have a draft actually getting underway very shortly, so we will see what the adaptations are going to be actually heading into this, and where the priority is overall with the meta as well. Do we feel like there is even a side that's favored, being Radiant and Dire, and again in regards to like first pick and second pick?
I don't think so. I don't think there is like a big favor in my eyes. I'm a second pick enjoyer, but I think there are a lot of kind of busted heroes that maybe first pick are going to enable you to get this time around. So that might be the thing that kind of swings it one way to me, that first pick might be a bit better here at TI 13. So we'll have to see how it all pans out. I mean, I think there are some like busted heroes, but there's also very team-specific bans that need to be done. Like Quinn's Monkey King is insane. I think, again, Celery, Chen Enchantress, you got to get rid of them in my eyes, or have a legitimate way to be able to deal with them, which clearly, again, they just got on the front foot and they were pretty successful at doing it, delaying the mech timing, delaying all of these different auras. So, I feel like 1W are probably going to look to go to a similar sort of strategy again. It's just a matter of, are they going to be able to execute it a little bit better this time? This is the time where the coach really earns his keep. If Achilles is able to just drill into them that you had that game, guys, don't feel down. Like, don't feel like it slipped away from you. But if you continue believing in each other and yourself, you can get the W.
Yep. We do have some cores that are yet to be banned out, some changes. We saw the Lena ban last game, the Wind Ranger and the Sniper as well. And we will get a couple of them left through the pool. And it's actually going to be the Primal Beast once again. So they felt like this was not their issue. This was their response to the Chen. And what I make of this is they feel like this hero is incredibly strong. You have the opportunity for 8th pick. You can get the most broken thing you want to. And they choose a Dino. So let's see.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily rate it quite as highly as a lot of other people do. You can see there Achilles sitting in the screen, making the decisions in Chira's seat. I don't know, like, BKB Piercing Ultimate is always going to be a good thing. High magic damage is always going to be a good thing. A form of initiation is always going to be a good thing. I guess eventually having Break as well with the Aghanim Scepter is really effective too. But I feel like there's more broken stuff out there, particularly with flex heroes, right? I think Sniper in particular. It can be played 1, 2, and 4. We're seeing a lot more position 4 Sniper. We're seeing a lot more people take the reduced duration, faster damage instances on the Shrapnel, and you can see here from Gaiman, they're just going to go down that sort of route.
Very intrigued to see where the little man goes. Support or the mid lane. Do you overall have a preference at the moment? Because I know a lot of other people are playing different roles.
I think if you've got a melee hero in mid lane that you're just going to crush, then obviously Sniper. But I think position 4 can work. People build it very differently as well. Some people look to go into like I see Bobika play it as like pretty much a carry. His first item is Treads and then into a Mjolnir as a position 4 Sniper.
No way.
So, yeah.
Oh my god.
Like and I think it's like a Daedalus after that he looks to go for. So some people like to go for a little bit more of like a versatile build-up, go into a few Wraith bands, maybe like a Glipnir to at least provide some of that control to the rest of your team. I think the days of the Kanda is kind of done with the Aghanim Scepter, but I think just that high amount of burst damage that you're able to provide from range with the facet, the non-ghillie suit one. I don't know what the name of it is off the top of my head, but it just feels really nice.
The scatter shot is what it's called. It looks like Tofu has got 6 matches with the Sniper so far in Pro Chaka over the 8 days, and he has 2 wins, 4 losses. So we will see. It seems like at the moment it is Tranks into Solar Crest. Sometimes he's actually gone Arcane into Solar Crest as well. So we will see if there's going to be any changes there for Tofu.
Yeah,
I think actually Quinn was also playing Sniper, if I remember correct. Never mind. He is okay.
Yep, absolutely. He is a big bully when he likes to be. So yeah, again, very, very different things that you could look to go for as this Sniper, right? It can be mid, it can be 4, it can even be 1 in the right sort of instances. Although with this Wind Ranger, probably going to be the Duraccio hero, just because, going up against a Primal Beast, if he can never reach you, he can never do any damage. I think maybe that was one of the weaknesses that I saw from the 1W draft last time, is that you do really need to put yourself in there to do anything. Once you're in, you do a lot, right? But it took quite a while for Cloud to be able to get into that BKB, which meant that his impact in that game, once, you know, a few more of the stuns, a few more of the group ups, as once people started like living through the initial burst, he really dropped off in effectiveness quite heavily. So I think they're just saying, you know what? We think our strat worked relatively well. We're going to pick pretty similar sorts of heroes. Of course, the Enchantress going up against the Wind Ranger feels pretty good too, just to be able to spill off the win run.
What do you feel like are some of the better ways to address a carry Wind Ranger drafted early for a team? Like, what are 1W going to be talking about here to try and deal with this hero?
I guess you are a little single target, although you can go the different facet, I suppose. So maybe just going into a lot more of this, like, you know, your Solar Crests or your Glimmer Capes, like stuff to buff up one person in particular, so that whoever gets going on, they're the ones that are going to get saved. 4 stars, you know, all the sort of things that I just mentioned, right? Or just being able to like lock her in place and not have to worry too much about the win run, about getting away. So maybe a puck is something on the cards for 1W. The concern, of course, is that then you're going to have potentially a puck into a mid sniper, and the sniper is just going to deal a ton of physical damage to you, and you're not going to get a ton of farm in the lane.
5 seconds remaining.
This is a Sweden strong classic, though, right? With the Marcy often getting played from him in the position 4. Trying to look at Cloud if he has any range heroes that he likes to play in the offlane, and it doesn't seem like there is particularly many for him. So maybe this is just going to be the Marcy with the Primal Beast. We do see the response so from Gaming with the Jakiro, so kind of nice, especially with the lane to be very frustrating against the Marcy, and you've got a triple ranged at the moment from GG.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I mean, if it's dual melee as well, that dual breath is going to be very, very effective. We've seen a lot of actually success with the Jakiro over the past month, both in pubs as well as different tournaments. So I could very well see why Gaming Gladiators have gone down this sort of route. Just on the Marcy, 1W actually released a bit of a promo video for their TI 4A. It's called Rampage Battle for the Throne, and Sweden Strong is actually cosplaying as Marcy in that one. So give it a quick YouTube, help him out a little bit. Because and Munkushi's anti-mage, and he's got like the full bald cap and mohawk on as well. Looks great.
Okay, not bad. You're going to go all the way. You're going to do the content. He's all dressed up for it as well.
For sure. Conquer. Huh? I mean, yeah, feels pretty good just to be able to, if you're going to have all of these melee heroes that, again, need to get in to do the business, then, you know, having something like Conquer that X-Mark's really effective, Torrent really effective, you know, Cleave going to hit onto everyone. Feels like it makes a lot of sense to me. And you've still left things open, right? You've still left this sniper as a potential mid or a potential position 4.
What were your initial thoughts when you saw the changes to the Conquer?
I mean, obviously, I was very relieved because that was in a state that was just so gigabusted and it felt like you couldn't really do anything in the game. So I liked it. I'm interested to see who's able to get the most out of it, right? Because the Torrent Storm was the thing that would absolutely destroy a draft like this previously, and you probably wouldn't even go down a Marcy and Primal Beast route if there was the potential of a Conquer still being in the pool, right? So it's still going to be good. It's just not going to be as amazing as it used to be.
Okay. We get that ranged offlaner though for Cloud, so it's going to be the pairing with the Marcy, and Primal Beast will go mid lane with Chira Jr. So we are still looking for our carry in regards to Munkushi. We're going to see some respect as well with the Gyrocopter getting banned out, which has been a really nice way to deal with the Eidolons. I'm trying to see what they would do though. Would it be Conquer, I guess, played offlane, and maybe Quinn would pick up the Wind Ranger? So is there maybe something else we could see for Daracha? We know he likes the Alchemist. We know he likes the Bristleback. Are there other carries that we now need to be considering because of the Enigma?
10 seconds remaining.
I'd say the Bristleback is probably up there for mine. You know, it's a lot of that
5 seconds remaining.
unavoidable damage. So even something like the Enchantress with the Untouchable doesn't feel that great. Of course, like you mentioned, just deals with the Enigma quite effectively. I feel like they've got enough control with the rest of their heroes that it's going to be quite effective too. I would be putting that at the top of my list right now, especially considering like you could probably put a bit of extra focus onto the Cloud. I'm assuming it's a Cloud Primal Beast, just because he is going to be the one that has some form of break to be able to stop you from just running rampant, right? So that'd be my main concern right now.
Cloud or Chiro Jr. on the Primal?
I mean, the Enigma could still be like a 5, and you could have a 1 Marcy or a 4 Marcy. I don't know. It's still a little open for mine. Like you were mentioning before, Cloud doesn't exactly play the most ranged offlaners, right? So this kind of stems into that sort of discussion.
Yep. Do you see Lisa? I think it's mainly ranged carries getting banned out for gaming, and the Weaver as well. I mean, can be flex, of course, which we saw previously. And we'll see what 1W want to try and ban out last year before their 23rd pick.
Just trying to see, like, they don't have a ton of burst outside of this Marcy right now. And I think when you're going up against good ban. When you're going up against a Wind Ranger and a Conquer especially, you need burst. You need to stop them before they get off, Wind Run or just ultimates and that sort of stuff. Even Sniper eventually, right, is going to have the concussive grenade to be able to reposition himself and get a bit of a disarm off.
5 seconds remaining.
What is the call? 1W. What route do they want to go down? It's going to be the Razor for them.
Been playing a lot lately. Feels good against a Conquer, if it is going to be an offlane Conquer. Most likely is. They've got decent control for themselves. Not burst, but you do feel... It's like a Game and Gladiators-esque draft, right? Like, I think they're trying to beat them at their own game, which, props to them. It's a hard task. A lot of people have tried to do it before and haven't. There's a reason GG are at the very top of the favorites for winning this whole tournament. But, they nearly did it in that game number 1. It just came down to a couple of decisions, and we are going to see that Alchemist. So physical damage going up against, most likely, the Eidolons being played by Ace in... not by Ace, by Cloud in the offlane is going to be very, very effective. Not really wanting to deal too much magic into that as well. And it does feel like Duraccio, they're giving him a bit more of a free reign to be able to be that legit carry for a lot of these engagements.
Just the question is, where are the other heroes going to be played though for gaming? A lot of flex between them. And it will actually be the Quinn picking up the Wind Ranger. So Conquer is going to be played from Ace in the offlane. Let's see what utility he wants to go down. High Tide is currently the facet that he has chosen. We'll see if he will continue to stick with that or not.
I mean, again, like, it feels like he can be a pretty consistent damage source in a lot of these fights, right? Like, you've got the Conquer and the Acid Spray, which combo together incredibly well. You've got, Eidolons that are going to be dealt with, so you can't really, like, split push all that effectively. You've got now 3 heroes that pretty much need to commit heavily deep into a fight in the Razor, the Marcy, and the Primal Beast. So, I don't know, it feels like this game is a lot more set up for success, at least in my eyes, for Gaming Gladiators.
Okay. What lanes need to go right for gaming to be able to get in the position where you feel like this lineup is going to be able to thrive? Who needs to have a good early game? Who needs to be enabled for them?
I think you should be able to get out of that safe lane in a pretty good spot. Although anytime you've got like a tiny Enigma or a Marcy Enigma lane or something like that with some reposition capabilities, you've got to be very careful of that Eidolon. Understanding the Eidolon status, because if Celery gets put out of position, even if he dual breaths and does whatever, he's probably dead, right? Similar sort of thing with the Alchemist early on prior to hitting onto that level 6. I can very much see them putting a little bit more emphasis onto making sure they're able to get out of that lane in a pretty good spot. But yeah, for GG, I think this game is a little bit more clear cut for mine, and I'm interested to see even what build Tofu goes for. Is he going to be a tiny bit greedier himself? Is he going to, instead of pursuing that like Solar Crest Tranquils build that he usually goes, maybe it is going to be like it could probably still Tranquils into like a Boots of Bearing, but then beyond that go into a Glipnir for himself or something like that, just to provide that little bit of extra control.
I've seen the consistent kind of thing of the position 4 is always looking for this greedy playstyle. So Yeah, we'll see what the call will be from Tofu. Once again, we saw previously 1W was not a kind of delayed smoke. That's what Gaming Gladiators did. This time, both sides will go for a later smoke outside the base.
30 seconds to battle.
Tends to be a bit of a trend in recent times, the later smoke. Just be able to potentially catch people out off guard. You know, it's hard to tell, right? Because you need to kind of adapt to what other people are doing and then they adapt to what you're doing. It's just this big merry-go-round, so a lot of the time you just need to do something random and it'll work out.
Just a couple of tips back and forth. I was checking to see if anything had happened, but it's going to be the case. It looks like they'll be a little bit too late for the bounties. Okay, Duracho.
This is what I'm talking about, right? Like, that is level 1, not even level 2. You know, that's the period where they're going to look to try and get a little bit more active on the 1W side. Duracho was able to get the bounty rune, though, so a little bit of a gold bonus going his way. Went the seed money as well. So I think he might already have boots coming out to him. Yeah, he really just wants to make sure that his positioning is always on point in this lane. That's how scared they are of the kill threat coming from this Enigma Marcy combo.
See, Tofu and Respect going at it. We saw previously Respect was able to have a pretty nice time up against the Rubik in regards to harass. Maybe this time might be a little bit more different with the headshot procs from Tofu that has gone early, along with, you know, a lot of stats as well with the sniper.
Again, this is one of those ones where does he go into a bit more of that brawling style to make sure that he doesn't get out-traded by the Enchantress? Because not many heroes can out-trade with an Enchantress. You've got to either like outrange or just out-damage her. She's going to out-sustain you.
Is this a kill lane as well for 1W? Like you were saying, you know, the Razor into the melee, but is this a lane that you feel like they should be too concerned? Because maybe the X can disrupt the Razor running you down and along with the Shrapnel slow as well?
Yeah, no, I don't really think that they should be able to get too many kills up on this top side. They might try onto Ace up here, and they will. Hanging on to him here with the static link, with the grenade. Enough to take him out, though. Not so much. He's got the Admiral's rum onto himself.
Okay, so takes up a lot of damage, has a couple of tangos, but still, with the hard camp pull from Tofu, this is going to keep the wave very close to the tower, so Ace is going to be pretty happy. Let's take a look at how some of the other lanes are shaping up as well at the moment. Mid, Chira Jr. playing with the Primal Beast, this time into Quinn's Wind Ranger. And it looks like Quinn's off to a pretty good start at the moment. We'll see how the Dino looks to fare, though. Definitely a hero that's able to make some easy rotations across the map.
Sure, but I think you've got to be very, very careful because, you know, most of the time it's Quinn that's like the win condition coming through from Gaming Gladiators, right? It's adjusted a little bit with, like, you know, the Lesh nerfs and all that sort of stuff, but he still very much is. And I don't think you can leave the lane all that much just because he's going to get far too far ahead if you do so. Right now he's already opened up like a, at the end of this creep wave, probably like a 200, maybe even 300 net worth lead from Chira Jr. just 3 minutes in.
Yeah, we see bottom. Duracho's having a really good time as well. 16-3, so dual breath along with the acid spray. A bit of an issue here depending on where the Eidolons are already getting stacks as well inside the jungle. So we'll see how 1W going to be able to contest this. Unfortunately, it doesn't get this third stack onto the medium camp, but
that's how you know he's a carry,
again, with
not a support.
Hey, at least he's trying though. I respect it. Celery should be fine. No Eidolons here for Cloud. Duracho's actually going to try and run down Cloud. With the concoction charged up, they're going to be able to drop the acid spray as well. They got the damage just by himself on Duracho. Swedenstrom was doing a good job to push away Celery. So they didn't have that extra little bit of spells or right click to be able to bring down the Enigma. Another round of the concoction though. Swedenstrom tries to jump in to stop the concoction, but it's not going to matter. Duracho strikes first, and now they're going to turn. Celery can stand his ground with the power of the dual breath. That's level 2, and that will result in a secondary kill. Duracho's just he's just standing in front of the tower. He's mocking them at the moment.
Sure,
he wants to drag
not?
the wave. Okay, maybe that's what he's doing.
Sure. I mean, they're finding it hard to just walk into the waves a lot of the time, but if there's no wave there, it's a whole lot easier. Tofu's
Up lane
on this top side. Whoa, nice torrent coming through though, but there's the power of the rotations coming through from Chira Jr. I was a little surprised there. I really thought that Sweden Strong might have been able to get a dispose onto the Alchemist as it was kind of near the tier 1 tower, both enabling Cloud to get away as well as potentially a little bit of damage there. So small misplay coming through, but that's the sort of thing that Gladiators is capable of. Again, that 2 points in the dual breath is just so oppressive against all of these different units, against two heroes that again need to kind of get up amongst it to get a lot of their effectiveness in.
Oh, they really need this rotation to work from Respect, but the creepy took over is stuck inside the camp.
Oh, no.
So now it's going to pop out, and Sweden Strong tries to chase some Corys, but yeah, exactly right. They're going to see him, and the lane that was starting really well for GG, you try and bring a support over to maybe offset this advantage, but it will not work out. So some time wasted, Duracho TP's away, and he's fine.
That time, Chira Jr. rotated, he got the kill onto Tofu on the top side, but Quinn has no cares in the world right now. He's nearly level 6, he's got 400 more net worth, he's looking to scale quite nicely for himself, and again, it feels like these are heroes that can be at very different areas of the team fight, and if you consider how Marcy does her damage, how Razor does his damage, how Primal does his damage, it puts so much pressure onto Cloud.
They're all coming. Okay, top lane, Duracho and Celery are going to come through the portal, and maybe they'd expect one person to come through, but not a second, as well as Duracho. And now they're going to turn to Respect. Sweden Strong unable to really do too much, and Gaming Gladiators on a roll now. Can start to get pretty scary. All of a sudden, net worth lead up to 3,000.
This is what I was talking about in terms of effectiveness of this draft. It just feels like they cover a lot of the weaknesses that the 1W draft has. It feels like they're not unkillable, but it's going to be very, very hard to divide and conquer here, especially considering the side of Kushi is willing to commit again here onto Ace, and what a torrent, being able to just stop him in his tracks.
The kind of bonus movement speed from that new innate with the Admiral's Rum, along with the phase boots, we saw he was able to get out of range of the static link as well with the help of the torrent. So I'm going to think about maybe poking Munkushi down. Respect will move over. Enough of a deterrent to push them away. We've got a rotation out of Chira Jr. with a haste rune as well, so it looks like it's unnecessary to get the kill onto Tofu, but he might even think about Ace, but not be the case, so he'll charge on forward, take out his anger on a courier.
Sure, why not? They'll be able to get at least this 7-minute wisdom rune for Ace, so getting him closer to that ghost ship. Again, if they're looking to commit very heavily, now you've got ghost ship plus ice path plus torrent. That's even without concoction being considered as well. So it's a lot of stuff that you're going to have to avoid on 1W to be able to make it work. I'm just not so sure that they've got the draft to be able to do that. A lot of their heroes are very committal. Get a first smoke of the game as well. Quinn and Tofu coming up top together. Really looking to try and open up this map a little bit, especially trying to join the lane right as that level 6 comes up as well from Ace. And they want to get Munkushi, but good movement there by the Razor. Just gets out underneath his tower just in time. That time it was actually 1W getting the better read of the situation. So already just from one game against Gaming Gladiators, 1W have already adapted themselves.
I don't know, because I was looking up top, I did see on camera though that the Primal Beast rotated down bottom, and I think he took the stack away. Hold that thought, Munkushi. He dived in the tower. Power shot just going to be off the mark, and now we'll actually charge on forward with the help of Chira Jr. There's even a black hole as well as Cloud rotated in. That was before the win run though, so they're going to be relying on some body blocks. Respect gets a couple out with only 1 point in the win run. Quinn unable to escape. Sweden Strong junks over the top into the combination of the pulverize. They're going to have the damage to be able to bring down Quinn. Can they get anything more though? Celery finishing blow onto the Marcy.